Bihar is a state in northern India. It is the 12th largest state in terms of geographical size of 38,202 sq mi and third largest by population. It is bounded by Uttar Pradesh to its west, Nepal to the north, northern part of West Bengal to the east and by Jharkhand to the south. The Bihar plain is divided into two parts by the river Ganges which flows from west to east. Bihar has forest area of 6,764.14 km2, which is 7.2% of its geographical area. In 2000, southern Bihar was separated from Bihar to form the new state of Jharkhand. Close to 85% of the population lives in villages. Almost 58% of Biharis are below the age of 25, which is the highest proportion in India. Bihar was a center of power, learning and culture in ancient and classical India. From Magadha arose India's first and greatest empire, the Maurya Empire, as well as one of the world's most widely adhered to religions, Buddhism. Magadha empires, notably under the Maurya and Gupta dynasties, unified large parts of South Asia under a central rule. Its capital Patna, earlier known as Pataliputra, was an important center of Indian civilization. Close to Patna, Nalanda and Vikramshila were centers of learning which were established in the 5th and 8th century respectively in Bihar, and are counted as amongst the oldest international universities of the time. Since the late 1970s, Bihar has lagged behind other Indian states in terms of his social and economic development. Economists and social scientists claimed that this is a direct result of the policies of the central government, such as the freight equalization policy, its apathy towards Bihar, lack of Bihari subnationalism, and the permanent settlement of 1793 by the British East India Company. The state government has however made significant strides in developing the state. The improved governance has led to an economic revival in the state through increased investment in infrastructure, better healthcare facilities, greater emphasis on education, and a diminution in crime and corruption. Etymology. The name Bihar is derived from the Sanskrit and Pali word, vihara, which means abode. The region roughly encompassing the present state was dotted with Buddhist vihara, the abodes of Buddhist monks in the ancient and medieval periods. Medieval writer Minhaj al-Siraj Jyotsani records in the Tabakat-i-Nazari that in 1198 AD, Bakhtiar Khalji committed a massacre in a town now known as Bihar Sharif, about 70 km away from Bodh Gaya. Later, Bakhtiar learned that the town was a college, and the word for college is Bihar. History. Ancient, different regions of Bihar like Magadha, Mithila, Anga, Vaishali are mentioned in different religious texts and epics of ancient India. The power center of ancient Bihar was around the region of southwest Bihar called Magadha, which remained the center of power, learning, and culture in India for 1,000 years. The Haryanka dynasty founded in 684 BC ruled Magadha from the city of Rajraya. Two well-known kings were Bimbisara and his son Ajatashatru, who imprisoned his own father to get the throne. Ajatashatru founded the city of Pataliputra, which later became the capital of Magadha. He declared war and conquered Vijay, another powerful Mahajanapada north of Ganges, with their capital at Vaishali. Vaishali was ruled by Likvi, who had a republic form of government where king was elected from the number of rajas. Haryanka dynasty was followed by Shishanaga dynasty, and later Nanda dynasty replaced them with a vast empire from Bengal to Punjab. The Nanda Empire was replaced by Maurya Empire. India's first empire, the Maurya Empire, as well as Buddhism, arose from the region that now makes up modern Bihar. The Mauryan Empire, which originated from Magadha in 325 BC, was started by Chandragupta Maurya, who was born in Magadha, and had its capital at Pataliputra. The Mauryan emperor, who was born in Pataliputra, is believed to be one of the greatest rulers in the history of India and the world. Bihar remained an important place of culture and education during the next 1,000 years. The Gupta Empire that originated from Magadha in 240 AD is referred as the Golden Age of India in science, mathematics, astronomy, commerce, religion and Indian philosophy. Bihar and Bengal was invaded by Rajendra Chola, one of the Chola dynasty, in the 11th century. Medieval. The Buddhism in Magadha declined completely with the invasion of Muhammad bin Bakhsh Khilji, during which many of the Biharis and the famed universities of Nalanda and Vikramshila were destroyed, and thousands of Buddhist monks were massacred during 12th century. In 1540 the great Pathan of Bihar, Shishasuri, from Sasaram, Bihar, took the reins of North India. He was the first person who defeated the Mughals and army of Humayun, making Delhi as his capital. The Mughals had to leave India during his rule. The 10th and the last Guru of Sikhism, Guru Gobind Singh, was born in Patna. After the downfall of Mughal Empire, Bihar came under Nawabs of Bengal. Colonial Era. After the Battle of Buxar, the British East India Company obtained the Dani rights for Bihar, Bengal and Odisha. The rich resources of fertile land, water and skilled labour had attracted the foreign imperialists, particularly the Dutch and British, in the 18th century. A number of Aryo-based industries had been started in Bihar by the foreign entrepreneurs. Bihar remained a part of the Bengal Presidency of British India until 1912. When the province of Bihar and Orissa was carved out as a separate province. Since 2010, Bihar has celebrated its birthday as Bihar Diwas on March 22. In 1935, certain portions of Bihar were reorganized into the separate province of Orissa. Pre- and post-independence, farmers in Champaran had revolted against indigo cultivation in 1914 and 1916. In April 1917, Mahatma Gandhi visited Champaran, where Rajkumar Shaikla had drawn his attention to the exploitation of the peasants by European indigo planters. The Champaran Satyagraha that followed received support from many Bihari nationalists, such as Rajendra Prasad and Anugrah Narayan Sinha. In the northern and central regions of Bihar, the Kisan Sabha was an important consequence of the freedom movement. It began in 1929 under the leadership of Swami Sayajanand Saraswati, who formed the Bihar Provincial Kisan Sabha, to mobilize peasant grievances against the zamindari attacks on their occupancy rights. The movement intensified and spread from Bihar across the rest of India, culminating in the formation of the All India Kisan Sabha at the Lucknow session of the Indian National Congress in April 1936, where Saraswati was elected as its first president. This movement aimed at overthrowing the feudal zamindari system instituted by the British. It was led by Saraswati and his followers Pandit Yamuna Kajay, Rahul Sankrityayan, Pandit Karyan Sharma, Baba Nagajan and others. Pandit Yamuna Kajay along with Rahul Sankrityayan and a few others started publishing a Hindi weekly Hunkar from Bihar, in 1940. Hunkar later became the mouthpiece of the peasant movement and the agrarian movement in Bihar and was instrumental in spreading it. Bihar played a very important and vital role in the independence of India. Many revolutions took place in Bihar during the freedom movement of India. Champaran is one of the biggest places of freedom movement in India. M.K. Gandhi and many big leaders of the freedom movement have done some march and rallies at Bihar. Babu Kunwar Singh of Jagdishpur is named as most incredible freedom fighter of Bihar. Bihari migrant workers have faced violence and prejudice in many parts of India, such as Maharashtra, Punjab and Assam after independence. Geography and climate. Bihar has a diverse climate. Its temperature is subtropical in general, with hot summers and cool winters. Bihar is a vast stretch of fertile plain. It is drained by the Ganges River, including its northern tributaries Gandak and Koshi, originating in the Nepal Himalayas and the Bagmati originating in the Kathmandu Valley that regularly flood parts of the Bihar Plains. The total area covered by the state of Bihar is 94,163 km². The state is located between 24°-20-10 N to 27°-31-15 N latitude and between 83°-19-50 E to 88°-17-40 E longitude. Its average elevation above sea level is 173 feet. The Ganges divides Bihar into two unequal halves and flows through the middle from west to east. Other Ganges tributaries are the Son, Budi Gandak, Chandan, Arani and Falgu. Though the Himalayas begin at the foothills, a short distance inside Nepal and to the north of Bihar, the mountains influence Bihar's landforms, climate, hydrology and culture. Central parts of Bihar have some small hills, for example the Rajgir Hills. To the south is the Kota Nagpur Plateau, which was part of Bihar until 2000 but now is part of a separate state called Jharkhand. Bihar is very cold in the winter, with the lowest temperatures being in the range from 0 to 10 degrees Celsius. Winter months are December and January. It is hot in the summer, with average highs around 35 to 40 degrees Celsius. Flora and fauna. Bihar has notified forest area of 6,764.14 km2, which is 7.2% of its geographical area. The sub-Himalayan foothill of Samshwa and the Dun ranges in the Champaran district are another belt of moist deciduous forests. These also consist of scrub, grass and reeds. Here the rainfall is above 1,600 mm and thus promotes luxuriant self forests in the area. The most important trees are Sharia robusta, Salsitlatuna, Care, and Semel. Deciduous forests also occur in the Sahasa and Purnia districts. Sharia robusta, Diospyros melanoxylon, Boswellia serrata, Terminalia tomentos, Terminalia bellerica, Terminalia laguna, Trichalpus marsupium, Madhuca indica are the common flora across the forest of Bihar. The Ganges River dolphins, or swans, are found in the Ganges and Brahmaputra. This river dolphin is the national aquatic animal of India. It is now considered amongst the most endangered mammals of the region. The dolphins range from 2.3 to 2.6 meters in length. They have impaired vision due to the muddy river water but use sonar signals to navigate. Vikramshila Gangetic Dolphin Sanctuary, near Bhagalpur is set up to ensure the protection of this species. Valmiki National Park, West Champaran District, covering about 800 km2 of forest, is the 18th tiger reserve of India and is ranked 4th in terms of density of tiger population. It is a diverse landscape, sheltering rich wildlife habitats and floral and faunal composition, along with the prime protected carnivores. Demographics. After the 2001 census, Bihar was the third most populated state of India with total population of 82,998,509. Nearly 85% of Bihar's population lived in rural areas. Almost 58% of Biharis were below 25 years age, which is the highest in India. The density was 881. The sex ratio was 919 females per 1,000 males. Mostly, Biharis belong to Indo-Aryan-speaking ethnic groups along with few Dravidian-speaking and Austroasiatic-speaking people mostly in Chota Nagpur Plateau. Since ancient times, Bihar has attracted migrants and settlers including Bengalis, Turks from Central Asia, Persians, Afghans and Punjabi Hindu refugees during the partition of British India in 1947. Bihar has a total literacy rate of 63.82%, recording a growth of 20% in female literacy over the period of a decade. At the 2011 census, the density has surpassed 1,000 per square kilometre, making Bihar India's densest populated state, but is still lower than West Java or Banten of Indonesia. Government and administration. The constitutional head of the government of Bihar is the governor, who is appointed by the President of India. The real executive power rests with the Chief Minister and the Cabinet. The political party or the coalition of political parties having a majority in the Legislative Assembly forms the government. The head of the bureaucracy of the state is the Chief Secretary. Under this position, is a hierarchy of officials drawn from the Indian Administrative Service, Indian Police Service, and different wings of the state civil services. The judiciary is headed by the Chief Justice. Bihar has a high court which has been functioning since 1916. All the branches of the government are located in the state capital, Patna. The state is divided into 9 divisions and 38 districts, for administrative purposes. Politics. See also, political parties in Bihar, elections in Bihar and list of politicians from Bihar. The first Bihar ministry during British regime from April 1, 1937 to July 19, 1937 was led by Premier Muhammad Yunus. The second Bihar ministry in 1937 and the first, second Bihar governments after independence were led by Sri Krishna Sinha and Anugrah Narayan Sinha. Subsequently, Bihar gained an anti-establishment image and it was often projected as prone to low discipline and anarchy. Caste-based politics came to the fore, with power initially being in the hands of the Yadavs, Bhumihar Brahmin, Rajput, Khyastha and Brahmin communities. For 2 decades, the Indian National Congress governed the state hand in glove with the central government of Indira Gandhi. It was at this time that Chandrasekhar Singh became chief minister and politicians such as Satyendra Narayan Sinha deserted Congress for the Janata Party due to ideological differences. There were occasional breaks in Congress governance, as in 1977. In between, the socialist movement tried to break the stranglehold of the status quo under the leadership of Mayor Mayaprasad Sinha and Karpuri Thakur. This did not flourish, partly due to the impractical idealism of these leaders and partly due to the machinations of the central leaders of the Congress Party who felt threatened by a large politically aware state. Janata Dal came to power in the state in 1990 on the back of its victory at the national stage in 1989. Lalu Prasad Yadav became chief minister after defeating Ram Sundar Das, a former chief minister from the Janata Party and a protege of upper caste Janata stalwarts. Yadav gained support among the masses through a series of popular and populist measures. Socialists such as Nitish Kumar disassociated themselves from Yadav, who by 1995 was both chief minister and president of his party, the Rashtriya Janata Dal. Yadav was later subject to various charges of corruption leading him to quit the post of chief minister. Soon after his wife Rabri Devi was elected in his place. The administration is believed to have deteriorated during this period. By 2004, 14 years after Yadav's victory, The Economist magazine said that Bihar had become a byword for the worst of India, of widespread and inescapable poverty, of corrupt politicians indistinguishable from mafia dons they patronize, caste-ridden social order that has retained the worst feudal cruelties. In 2005, the World Bank believed that issues faced by the state were enormous, because of persistent poverty, complex social stratification, unsatisfactory infrastructure and weak governance. In 2005, as disaffection mounted, the RJD was voted out of power and replaced by a coalition headed by his former ally, Nitish Kumar. Currently, there are 2 main political formations, the National Democratic Alliance which comprises Janata Dal, Bharatiya Janata Party and the RJD-led coalition which also has the Indian National Congress. There are myriad other political formations. Ram Vilas Paswan-led Lok Janshakti Party is a constituent of the UPA at the centre. The Communist Party of India had a strong presence in Bihar at one time, but is weakened now. The CPM and Forward Bloc have a minor presence, along with the other extreme left. In the 2010 state elections Bihar's current Chief Minister Nitish Kumar-led government won 206 seats out of 243 seats. In contrast to prior governments, which emphasized divisions of caste and religion, Kumar's manifesto was based on economic development, curbs on crime and corruption and greater social equality for all sections of society. This was at the time of election and immediately afterwards. Since 2010, the government has confiscated the properties of corrupt officials and redeployed them as schools buildings. Simultaneously they introduced Bihar's Special Court Act to curb crime. It has also legislated for a 2-hour break on Fridays, including lunch, to enable Muslim employees to pray and thus cut down on post-lunch absenteeism by them. Economy. Gross state domestic product of Bihar for the year 2011/2012 has been around 2,622.30 billion INR. By sectors, its composition is, agriculture equals 22%, industry equals 5%, services equals 73%. The economy of Bihar is largely service-oriented, but it has a significant agricultural base. The state also has a small industrial sector. More recently, Bihar's state GDP recorded a very high growth, making Bihar the fastest-growing major state of India. Agriculture. Bihar lies in the riverine plain of the Ganga Basin area and is endowed with fertile Gangetic alluvial soil with abundant water resources. particularly groundwater resources. This makes Bihar's agriculture rich and diverse, although it has never reached its full potential. Rice, wheat, and maize are the major cereal crops of Bihar, while arrowroot, gram, peas, lentils, and cereal are some of the pulses crop cultivated in Bihar. Bihar is the largest producer of vegetables, especially potatoes, onions, brinjal, and cauliflower. In fruit cultivation, it is the largest producer of lychee, the third largest producer of pineapples and a major producer of mangoes, bananas, and guava. Sugarcane and jute are the other two major cash crops of Bihar. Industry. Bihar has a very small industrial base compared to the other Indian states including neighbouring Jharkhand. The state of Bihar accounts for nearly about 8.5% of India's population and about 3% of its landmass. In percentage terms of industrial units, Bihar holds only around 1% of factories installed in India. In terms of output value, less than 1% of India's industrial output comes from Bihar. The industrial sector contributes about 5% of the GDP of Bihar, while the share of industrial sector in India's GDP is around 20%. Bihar's industrial sector is dominated by small household and cottage industries. Agro-based industries are major constituents of industrial sector in Bihar. Bihar has emerged as brewery hub with major domestic and foreign firms setting up production units in the state. Three major firms are United Breweries Group, Danish brewery company Carlsberg Group and Cobra Beer are to set up new units in Patna and Muzaffarpur in 2012. Bihar has significant levels of production of mango, guava, lychee, pineapple, brinjal, cauliflower, bhindi, and cabbage. Despite the state's leading role in food production, investment in irrigation and other agriculture facilities has been inadequate. Historically, the sugar and vegetable oil industries were flourishing sectors of Bihar. Until the mid-1950s, 25% of India's sugar output was from Bihar. Dalmianagar was a large agro-industrial town. There were attempts to industrialize the state between 1950 and 1980, an oil refinery in Barauni, a motor scooter plant at Fatua, and a power plant at Muzaffarpur. However, these were forced to shut down due to certain central government policies which neutralized the strategic advantages of Bihar. Barauni is still one of the few old industrialized towns in the state. Hajipur, near Patna, remains a major industrial town in the Bihar, linked to the capital city through the Ganges Bridge and good road infrastructure. The state's debt was estimated at 77% of GDP by 2007. The Finance Ministry has given top priority to create investment opportunities for big industrial houses like Reliance Industries. Further developments have taken place in the growth of small industries, improvements in IT infrastructure, the new software park in Patna, and the completion of the expressway from the Purvanchal border through Bihar to Jharkhand. In August 2008, a Patna-registered company called the Security and Intelligence Services India Limited took over the Australian Guard and Mobile Patrol Services business of American conglomerate, United Technologies Corporation. SIS is registered and taxed in Bihar. The capital city, Patna, is one of the better-off cities in India when measured by per capita income. The state government is setting up an information technology city at Rajgir in Nalanda district. Additionally, India's first media hub is also proposed to be set up in Bihar. Income distribution, North-South divide. In terms of income, the districts of Patna, Mungla and Begusarai were the three best off out of a total of 38 districts in the state, recording the highest per capita gross district domestic product of 31,441, 10,087 and 9,312, respectively in 2004 €05. Culture. Language and literature. Hindi, the co-official national language, with English, and Urdu are constitutionally recognized languages of the state. Urdu, which is the mother tongue of Muslims, who form about 17% of the state's population, is very much secondary to Hindi in official use, although nearly 25% people in Bihar read and write Urdu. It was only recently that Maithili was also included as one of the state's official languages, although such use of it is negligible. Maithili is one of the Bihari languages, Euro-Maithili, Angika, Magadha, Bojari, which a majority of the people speak. Presently, Bihari languages are considered one of the 5 subgroups of Hindi, although Maithili was declared a separate language. Bihari languages are considered to be derived from the language of the erstwhile Magadha state Euro-Magadhi Prakrit, along with Bengali, Assamese, and Oriya. Bojari, a language related to Standard Hindi, is used as a lingua franca. And many throughout the state speak it as their first language. Arts and crafts. Mithila painting is a style of Indian painting practiced in the Mithila region of Bihar, especially Darbhanga, and Madhubani districts, where powdered rice is colored and used as a pigment. Tradition states that this style of painting originated at the time of the Ramayana, when King Janak commissioned artists to do paintings at the time of the marriage of his daughter, Sita, to Lord Ram. The painting was traditionally done on freshly plastered mud walls of huts, but now it is also done on cloth, handmade paper and canvas. Mithila painting mostly depicts men and their association with nature. There are scenes and deities from ancient epics like Krishna, Ram, Shiva, Durga, Lakshmi, and Saraswati. Natural objects like the sun, the moon, and religious plants like tulsi are much painted. Finally, there are scenes of royal courts and social events, such as weddings. Generally no space is left empty in the composition. Traditionally, painting was one of the skills that was passed down from generation to generation in the families of the Mithila region, mainly by women. The painting was usually done on walls during festivals, religious events, and other milestones in people's lives, such as birth, upanayam, and marriage. There are many renowned Mithila artists such as Smt. Bharti Dayal, Mahasundari Devi, the late Ganga Devi, the late Sita Devi, and others, who have brought an intellectual element to their paintings. Bharti Dayal is considered one of the greatest Madhubani painters, as her art is a unique amalgamation of heritage and modernity. Not less in importance or expressiveness is the ancient and historically significant Manjusha art, or Manjusha color, or Angika art, an art form of the Anga region of Bihar, originating in the old Anga kingdom, which encompassed present-day Bihar, Jharkhand, West Bengal, and the tri-area of Nepal. Manjushas, temple-shaped boxes, with 8 pillars. Made of bamboo, jute straw and paper. And containing, or decorated with, paintings of gods, goddesses, snakes and other characters, are used in the Bahula Bishahari Puja, celebrated in Gagalpa, usually in August, in remembrance of Bahula Euro unregistered trademark tale of love and sacrifice, and to appease the snake goddess and gods. A notable Manjusha artist is Jahar Das Gupta, born in Jamshedpur, Jharkhand. The Patna school of painting or Patna Kalam, sometimes also called company painting, is an offshoot of the well-known Mughal miniature school of painting, which flourished in Bihar during the early 18th to the mid-20th centuries. The practitioners of this art form were descendants of Hindu artisans of Mughal painting who, facing persecution under the Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb, who found refuge, via Murshidabad, in Patna during the late 18th century. The Patna painters differed from the Mughal painters, whose subjects included only royalty and court scenes, in that they included as subjects bazaar scenes, scenes of Indian daily life, local dignitaries, festivals and ceremonies, and nature scenes. The paintings were executed in watercolors on paper and on mica, but the style was generally of a hybrid and undistinguished quality. It is this school of painting that inspired the formation of the College of Arts and Crafts, Patna, under the leadership of Sri Radha Mohan, which is an important centre of fine arts in Bihar. In caning and weaving, artisans of Bihar are skillful in creating articles using local materials. Baskets, cups, and saucers made from bamboo strips or cane reed painted in vivid colours are commonly found in Bihari homes. A special container woven out of sikhi grass in the north, the porti, is a sentimental gift that accompanies a bride when she leaves her home after her wedding. The weavers of Bihar have been practicing their trade for centuries. Among their products in common use are cotton durries and curtains. These are produced by artisans in central Bihar, particularly in the Patna and Bihar Sharif areas. These colorful sheets, with motifs of Buddhist artifacts, pictures of birds, animals, and/or flowers, gently wafting in the air through doors and windows, blown by a cool summer breeze, used to be one of the most soothing sights as one approached a home or an office. Bhagalpur is well known for its sericulture, manufacture of tussar silk yarn, and weaving it into lovely products. Performing arts. Bihar has contributed to Indian classical music and has produced musicians such as Bharat Ratna Ustad Bismillah Khan, who, however, left Bihar at an early age. Dhrupad singers like the Maliks, and the Mishras, who were patronized by the zamindars of Darbhanga and Bihar respectively, have produced masters like Ram Chatter Malik, Bhupendra Malik, and Indra Kishore Mishra. While perhaps not as well known and commercially successful as those of the Degar school of Dhrupad, these masters have kept the Dhrupad tradition in perhaps the purest form. Gaya is another center of excellence in classical music, particularly of the Tapa and Thumri varieties. Pandit Govardhan Mishra, son of the Ramprasad Mishra, himself an accomplished singer, is perhaps the finest living exponent of Tapa singing in India today, according to Padma Shri Gajendra Narayan Singh, founding secretary of the Sangeet Natak Academy of Bihar. Gajendra Narayan Singh also writes, in his memoir, that Champanagar, Banelli, was another major center of classical music. Rakumash Yaman Sinha of Champanagar, Banelli princely state, was a great patron of music and was himself one of the finest exponents of classical vocal music in Bihar in his time. Singh, in another book on Indian classical music, has written that Kumash Yaman Singh of Banelli estate had such expertise in singing that many great singers including Kesar Bey Kirkar acknowledged his ability. After listening to bandishes from Kumar Sahib, Pandit Jasraj was moved to tears and lamented that, alas, he did not have such ability himself. Free translation of Hindi text. Bihar has a very old tradition of folk singing, sung during important family occasions, such as marriage, birth ceremonies, festivals, etc. The songs are usually sung by groups without the accompaniment of musical instruments, although dholak, banjari and, occasionally, tabla and harmonium are sometimes used. The most famous folk singer has been Padma Shri Sharda Sinha. Bihar also has a tradition of lively holy songs known as Fagua, filled with fun rhythms. During the 19th century, when the condition of Bihar worsened under the British misrule, many Biharis had to emigrate as indentured labourers to the West Indies, Fiji, and Mauritius. During this time many sad plays and songs called bɨ'hhaːr became popular, in the Bojor area, thus Bojori bɨ'hhaːr. Dramas incorporating this theme continue to be popular in the theatres of Patna. Dance forms of Bihar are another expression of rich traditions and ethnic identity. There are many folk dance forms that can keep one enthralled, such as Dobi Nach, Jhumar Nach, Manjhi, Gun Nach, Jitianik, Mormoni, Dom Domin, Buaye Baba, Ra Baba, Kathkawa Nach, Jatjitin, Launda Nach, Bama Nach, Jani, Jajia, Natua Nach, Natnatin, Padapad Nach, Sohre Nach, and Gund Nach. Theatre is another form in which the Bihari culture expresses itself. Some forms of theatre with rich traditions are Bidezia, Reshmashamal, Bahula Bisahari, Baharagoran, Raja Salesh, Sama Chakava, and Donkach. These theatre forms originate in the Anga region of Bihar. Cinema. Bihar has a robust Bojori language film industry. There is also a smaller production of Magadha, Mithili, as well as Angika language films. The first film with Bojori dialogue was Ganga Jamuna, released in 1961. Baya, the first Magadhi film, was released in 1961. The first Mithili movie was Kanyadan, released in 1965, of which a significant portion was made in the Mithili language. The history of films entirely in Bojori begins in 1962 with the well-received film Ganga Maliya To Pyari Kadhibo, which was directed by Kundan Kumar. 1963's Lajinawi Shoot Ram was the all-time hit Bojori film, and had higher attendance than Mughal-e-Azam in the eastern and northern regions of India. Bollywood's Nadia Kapur is another of the most famous Bojai language movies. However, in the following years, films were produced only in fits and starts. Films such as Bdizia and Gangal were profitable and popular, but in general Bojai films were not commonly produced in the 1960s and 1970s. In the 1980s, enough Bojai films were produced to tentatively support a dedicated industry. Films such as Mai and Hamar Baiji continued to have at least sporadic success at the box office. However, this trend faded out by the end of the decade, and by 1990, the nascent industry seemed to be completely finished. The Bojai film industry took off again in 2001 with the super hit Saliyan Hamar, which vaulted the hero of that film, Ravi Kisan, to superstardom. This success was quickly followed by several other remarkably successful films, including Panditji Batai Na Bayo Kab Hoy and Sajura Bada Paisa Wala. In a measure of the Bojai film industry's rise, both of these did much better business in the states of Uttar Pradesh and Bihar than mainstream Bollywood hits at the time, and both films, made on extremely tight budgets, earned back more than 10 times their production costs. Sajura Bada Paisa Wala also introduced Manoj Tiwari, formerly a well-loved folk singer, to the wider audiences of Bojai cinema. In 2008, he and Ravi Kisan are still the leading actors of Bojai films, and their fees increase with their fame. The success of their films has led to a dramatic increase in Bojai cinema's visibility, and the industry now supports an awards show and a trade magazine, Bojai City, which chronicles the production and release of what are now over 100 films per year. Many of the major stars of mainstream Bollywood cinema, including Amitabh Bachchan, have also recently worked in Bojai films. Religion. Gautam Buddha attained enlightenment at Bodh Gaya, a town located in the modern-day district of Gaya in Bihar. Vardhamana Mahavira, the 24th and the last Tirthankara of Jainism, was born in Vaishali around the 6th century BC. A typical Hindu Brahmin household would begin the day with the blowing of a conch shell at dawn. In rural Bihar, religion is the main component of popular culture. Shrines are located everywhere at the foot of trees, at roadsides, etc. Religious symbols or images of deities can be found in the most obscure or the most public places. From the dashboard of a dilapidated taxi to the plush office of a top executive, holy symbols or idols have their place. There is a wide variety of religious festivals. While some are celebrated all over the state, others are observed only in certain areas. Bihar is so diverse that different regions and religions have something to celebrate at some time or other during the year. So festivals take place round the year. Many of these are officially recognized by the days on which they take place being proclaimed as government holidays. Festivals. Chhath, also called Dala Chhath, is an ancient and major festival in Bihar. It is celebrated twice a year, once in the summer, called the Chaiti Chhath, and once about a week after Deepavali, called the Kartik Chhath. The latter is more popular because winters are the usual festive season in North India, and Chhath, being an arduous observance requiring the worshippers to fast without water for more than 24 hours, is easier to do in the Indian winters. Chhath is the worship of the sun god. Wherever people from Bihar have migrated, they have taken with them the tradition of Chhath. This is a ritual bathing festival that follows a period of abstinence and ritual segregation of the worshipper from the main household for 2 days. On the eve of Chhath, houses are scrupulously cleaned and so are the surroundings. The ritual bathing and worship of the sun god takes place, performed twice, once in the evening and once at the crack of dawn, usually on the banks of a flowing river, or a common large body of water. The occasion is almost a carnival, and besides every worshipper, usually women, who are mostly the senior ladies of the household, there are numerous participants and onlookers, all willing to help and receive the blessings of the worshipper. Ritual rendition of regional folk songs, carried on through oral transmission from mothers and mothers-in-law to daughters and daughters-in-law, are sung on this occasion for several days running. These songs are a great mirror of the culture, social structure, mythology and history of Bihar and eastern Uttar Pradesh. Chhath being celebrated at the crack of dawn is a beautiful, elating spiritual experience connecting the modern Indian to his ancient cultural roots. Chhath is believed to have been initiated by Kana, the king of Bangladesh. Among ritual observances, the month-long Shravani Mela, held along a 108-kilometer route linking the towns of Sultanganj and Deoghar, is of great significance. Shravani Mela is organized every year in the Hindu month of Shravan, that is the lunar month of July-August. Pilgrims, known as Kanwarias, wear saffron-colored clothes and collect water from a sacred at Sultanganj, then walk barefooted 108 km to the town of Deoghar, there to bathe the sacred Shiva Lingam. The observance draws thousands of people to Deoghar from all over India. Tej and Chitragupta Puja are other local festivals celebrated with fervour in Bihar. Bahula Baishari Puja is celebrated in the Anga region of Bihar. The Sanepa Cattle Fair is a month-long event starting approximately half a month after Deepavali and is considered the largest cattle fair in Asia. It is held on the banks of the Gandak River in the town of Sanepa. The constraints of the changing times, and new laws governing the sale of animals and prohibiting the trafficking in exotic birds and beasts, have eroded the once-upon-a-time magic of the fair. Apart from Chhath, all major festivals of India were celebrated in Bihar, such as Makar Sankranti, Saraswati Puja, Holi, Eid al-Fitr, Eid al-Adha, Muharram, Ram Navami, Rath Yatra, Raksha Bandhan, Mahashivratri, Durga Puja, Diwali, Kali Puja, Shyama Puja, Nisha Puja, Kojagra, Lakshmi Puja, Christmas, Mahavir Jayanti, Buddha Purnima, Javite Patrika, Chitragupta Puja, Gurpurab, Baiduj, and several other local festivals, as well. Cuisine. Bihari cuisine is eaten in Bihar, Jharkhand, eastern Uttar Pradesh, Bangladesh, and Nepal, as well as Mauritius, Fiji, some cities of Pakistan, Guyana, and Trinidad and Tobago, as these last are destinations of large Bihari immigration. Bihari cuisine is predominantly vegetarian because traditional Bihar society, influenced by Buddhist and Hindu values of non-violence, did not eat eggs, chicken, fish and other animal products. However, meat and seafood are also common, the latter due to the number of rivers in Bihar. Dairy products are consumed frequently throughout the year, including yogurt, buttermilk, lassi, ghee, and butter. The cuisine of Bihar is similar in large extent to North Indian cuisine but is influenced by other East Indian cuisines, such as Bengali. Bihari cuisine is seasonal, with watery foods such as watermelon, and sherbet made of the pulp of the wood apple fruit, being consumed mainly in the summer months. And dry foods, prepared with sesame and poppy seeds, in the winter months. Some dishes which Bihar is famous for include sattu paratha, which are parathas stuffed with fried chickpea flour, trika, fish curry, Bihari kebab, and posta dana kahwa, sweet poppy seed pudding. Media. Bihar Bandhu was the first Hindi newspaper published from Bihar. It was started in 1872 by Madan Mohan Bhatta, a Maharashtrian Brahmin settled in Bihar Sharif. Hindi journalism in Bihar, and especially Patna, could make little headway initially. It was mainly due to lack of respect for Hindi among the people at large. Many Hindi journals took birth and after a lapse of time vanished. Many journals were shelved even in the embryo. But once Hindi enlisted the official support, it started making a dent into the remote areas in Bihar. Hindi journalism also acquired wisdom and maturity and its longevity was prolonged. Hindi was introduced in the law courts in Bihar in 1880. Urdu journalism and poetry has a glorious past in Bihar. Many poets belong to Bihar such as Shad Azim Abedi, Kaif Azim Abedi, Kailam Ajiz and many more. Shangi Raman, a world-famous radio announcer, is from Bihar. Many Urdu dailies such as Kami Tanzim and Sahara publish from Bihar at this time. There is a monthly Urdu magazine called Voice of Bihar, which is the first of its kind and becoming popular among the Urdu-speaking people. the beginning of the 20th century was marked by a number of notable new publications. A monthly magazine named Bharat Ratna was started from Patna in 1901. It was followed by Kshatriya Hitaishi, Airavata from Dinapur, Patna, Udyoga and Chaitanya Chandrika. Udyog was edited by Vijayanand Tripathi, a famous poet of the time, and Chaitanya Chandrika by Krishna Chaitanya Goswami, a literary figures of that time. The literary activity was not confined to Patna alone but to many districts of Bihar. Magadha Parasad, established in Patna in 1952, pioneered Magadhi journalism in Bihar. It started a monthly journal, Magadhi, which was later renamed Bayan. Hindustan, Dainik Jagran, Aj, Nai Bhat and Prabhat Khabar are some of the popular Hindi newspapers of Bihar. National English dailies like the Times of India, Hindustan Times, Navrat Times, The Telegraph and the Economic Times, Mithila Today, have readers in the urban regions. Transportation. Railways. Bihar is very well connected by railway lines to the rest of India. Most of the towns are interconnected, and they are also connected directly to Kolkata, Delhi and Mumbai. Daily or weekly trains connect major cities in India. Nepal Railways operates 2 railway lines, a 6 km broad gauge line from Rakshal in India to Sirsi Inland Container Depot or Dry Port near Burganj in Nepal, and a 53 km 2 FTA 6 in narrow gauge line from Jayanagar in India to Bijalpura in Nepal. The latter line is composed of 2 sections, 32 km between Jayanagar and Janakpur and 21 km from Janakpur to Bijalpura. The Janakpur line is used largely for passengers and the Sirsi line only for cargo freight. Airways. Bihar has 3 operational airports at Patna, Gaya Airport, and Pune Airport. The Patna Airport is categorized as a restricted international airport, with customs facilities to receive international chartered flights. The Gaya Airport is an international airport connected to Colombo, Singapore, Bangkok, Paro and more. Roadways. The state has a vast network of national and state highways. East-west corridor goes through the cities of Bihar for a Euro 6 lanes. There are tourist buses operates for few places from Patna under Bihar State Tourism Corporations. There is well-known and trusted car rental services from www.easycab.com which operates majorly in Bihar, including Gaya, Bodh Gaya and Patna. Inland waterways. The Ganges are navigable throughout the year. A was the principal river highway across the vast North Indo-Gangetic plain. Vessels capable of accommodating 500 merchants were known to ply this river in the ancient period. It served as a conduit for overseas trade, as goods were carried from Pataliputra and Champa out to the seas and to ports in Sri Lanka and Southeast Asia. The role of the Ganges as a channel for trade was enhanced by its natural links. It embraces all the major rivers and streams in both North and South Bihar. In recent times, Inland Waterways Authority of India has declared the Ganges between Allahabad and Haldia to be a national inland waterway and has taken steps to restore its navigability. Tourism. Bihar is one of the oldest inhabited places in the world, with a history spanning 3,000 years. The historically rich culture and heritage of Bihar can be observed from the large number of ancient monuments spread throughout the state. Bihar is visited by many tourists from around the world, with about 24 million tourists visiting the state each year. In earlier days, tourism in the region was purely based on educational tourism, as Bihar was home of some prominent ancient universities like Nalanda University and Vikramshila University. Bihar is one of the most sacred place for various religions like Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, Sikhism and Islam. Mayabodhi Temple, a Buddhist shrine and UNESCO World Heritage Site is also situated in Bihar. Mahatma Gandhi Setu, Patna, was one of the longest river bridges in the world in early 80s. Education. Historically, Bihar has been a major center of learning, home to the ancient universities of Nalanda, Untitled and Vikramshila. This tradition of learning may have been stultified by the period of Turkic invasion c. 1000 CE, at which point it is believed major education centers were put out of operation during the Turkic raids originating from Central Asia. the current state of education and research is not satisfactory, though the current state government claims big achievements in school education. Bihar saw a revival of its education system during the later part of the British rule when they established Patna University, which is the seventh oldest university of the Indian subcontinent. Some other centres of high learning established by the British rule are Patna College, Bihar School of Engineering, Prince of Wales Medical College, Science College, Patna among others. After independence, Bihar lost the pace in terms of establishing a centre of education. Modern Bihar has a grossly inadequate educational infrastructure, creating a huge mismatch between demand and supply. This problem further gets compounded by the growing aspirations of the people and an increase in population. The craving for higher education among the general population of Bihar has led to a massive migration of the student community from the state. Bihar, with female literacy at 53.3%, is striving to climb as the government has established educational institutions. At the time of independence, women's literacy in Bihar was 4.22%. Bihar has a National Institute of Technology in Patna and an Indian Institute of Technology in Patna. A recent survey by Pratham rated the absorption of their teaching by the Bihar children better than those in other states. The best talent pool of engineers is in Delhi, Bihar and Jharkhand, says the National Employability Report of Engineering Graduates, 2014 by Aspiring Minds, which makes Bihar one of the top 3 states producing best engineering graduates in terms of quality and employability. As of December 2013, there are 7 government engineering colleges in public sector and 12 engineering colleges in the private sector in Bihar, besides government-aided BIT Patna and Women's Institute of Technology, Darbhanga. The overall annual intake of these technical institutes offering engineering education to students in Bihar is merely 6,200. In Bihar, the government colleges are located at Muzaffarpur, Bhagalpur, Gaya, Darbhanga, Motihari, Nalanda and Saran. All institutes are recognized by All India Council for Technical Education affiliated with Aryabhatta Knowledge University. As it is, the foundation stone of 8th Engineering College of the state government, named Ramtari Singh Dinkar Engineering College, was laid on December 22, 2013 at Begusarai, while the process to create infrastructure for 2 new engineering colleges, €1 each at Madhepura and Sitamarhi, has started. Bihar established several new education institutes between 2006 and 2008. BIT Mesra started its Patna Extension Center in September 2006. On August 8, 2008, IIT was inaugurated in Patna with students from all over India. These are also prominent engineering colleges in Bihar. NSIT opened its new college in Bihar, which is now emerging as a new education hub in Bihar, in 2008. BCE, Bhagalpur and MIT, Muzaffarpur National Institute of Pharmaceutical Education and Research is being set up in Hojipur. On August 4, 2008, National Institute of Fashion Technology Patna was established as 9th such institute in India. Chanakya National Law University, a law university, and Chandragupta Institute of Management was established in later half of 2008. Steps to revive the ancient Nalanda University as Nalanda International University is being taken. Countries like Japan, Korea and China have also taken initiatives. The Aryabhatta Knowledge University in Patna is framed, to which all the engineering as well medical colleges are affiliated in Bihar. The A.N. Sinha Institute of Social Studies is a premier research institute in the state. Bihar is pioneer in the field of yoga with its internationally renowned institute Bihar School of Yoga in Mungla. Bihar e-governance services and technologies and the government of Bihar have initiated a unique program to establish a center of excellence called Bihar Knowledge Center, a finishing school to equip students with the latest skills and customized short-term training programs at an affordable cost. The center aims to attract every youth of the state to hone up their technical, professional and soft skills and prepare them for the present industry requirement job market. Bihar also has Central Institute of Plastic Engineering and Technology and Institute of Hotel Management in Hojipur. Bihar also has Munshi Singh College in Motihari, East Champaran, Bihar. Website is http munchizingcollege.org.in and Kamchantarashan College in Rakshaw. Its website is http://www.kctraxaul.org.in/. One of India's premier medical institute AIIMS Patna started functioning in Patna. It is in line with AIIMS, New Delhi. Bihar Regiment, one of the battle cries of the Bihar Regiment, consisting of 17 battalions, is Ji Barang Bali. See also. References. Further reading. Radhakanta Barak, Land and Caste Politics in Bihar, external links, official website, Bihar at DMOZ.